It was just another busy morning at a downtown cafe, the kind filled with the comforting hum of espresso machines and the scent of freshly brewed coffee. Customers hurried in and out, chasing deadlines and caffeine. Among them worked Daniel, a single father who balanced trays with tired but steady hands. But in one shocking moment, everything changed. As he carried a steaming cup of coffee toward a sharply dressed woman seated by the window, a CEO known for her power and precision, his hand slipped. The hot coffee splashed across her expensive suit. The cafe went silent. Every eye turned toward them, waiting for the explosion, the shouting, the humiliation that seemed inevitable. Yet Daniel didn't run, didn't panic. He simply stood there, trembling but calm, as if there was something deeper behind the accident, something no one else could see. What no one in that cafe knew was that the spill wasn't just a clumsy mistake. Behind Daniel's trembling hands was a story heavy with emotion, one he had carried for years. He recognized the woman instantly the moment she walked in. She wasn't just any customer. She was the CEO who had once interviewed his late wife, Emily. In that brief moment, Daniel's mind flooded with memories of her laughter, her courage, during her illness, and the way she once came home from that very interview glowing with hope because someone had finally told her she had potential. He hadn't planned to spill the coffee, but deep down, part of him believed fate had created this moment, a chance to say what he never got to say before. Sometimes, life uses accidents to bring two stories full circle. As the CEO wiped the coffee from her sleeve, still stunned, Daniel quietly spoke words that froze her in place. He reminded her of that long-ago interview, how she had met a woman named Emily, full of dreams and determination. For a moment, confusion crossed her face as she tried to remember. Then Daniel continued, his voice trembling but sincere. He told her that Emily had been his wife, and that during her battle with cancer, she often spoke about the kindness the CEO had shown her that day. Even though Emily hadn't gotten the job, she came home saying, "Someone believed in me today." That small encouragement became a spark of hope that kept her going a little longer. Long enough to build a small design business from home. Standing there in that cafe, Daniel wasn't just sharing a memory. He was honoring the woman who once gave his wife light when life was dark. And that quiet cafe. As Daniel's words sank in, something shifted. The CEO's anger began to fade, replaced by a deep, reflective silence. She realized that the moment she barely remembered, a few kind words spoken years ago, had carried far more weight than she could have imagined. That simple gesture, born out of basic human compassion, had given a dying woman hope and a grieving man purpose. It was a reminder. That kindness doesn't always echo loudly. Sometimes it whispers, quietly shaping someone's life long after we've forgotten the moment. Daniel wasn't seeking pity or forgiveness. He was showing gratitude, proof that even the smallest act of humanity can ripple through time in powerful ways. In that instant, both of them understood something profound. Kindness is never wasted, even when we don't realize we've given it. Café, once filled with noise and tension, now felt still, almost sacred. The CEO looked at Daniel with eyes that were no longer sharp with frustration, but softened by understanding. In that shared silence, something remarkable happened. Instead of reacting with pride or anger, she chose compassion. She saw beyond the spilled coffee and the uniform. She saw a father, a husband, a man who had endured loss, yet still carried gratitude in his heart. Moved by his sincerity, she did something no one expected. She offered him a chance, a new beginning at her company, managing a cafe that would embody the very kindness he had reminded her of. It wasn't just a job. It was a recognition that humanity still matters in a world driven by status and success. Sometimes, the most powerful reaction isn't anger, it's grace. Weeks later, Daniel began his new chapter, managing the cafe inside the CEO's company, a place that soon became known not just for its coffee, but for its warmth. Every morning, he brought his daughter Lily along, her laughter filling the space with life. Employees who once rushed past each other began to slow down, smile more, and help one another. The CEO often visited quietly, watching as one man's story transformed an entire workplace. She realized that Daniel hadn't just reminded her of kindness, he had revived it. The ripple of one compassionate moment had spread further than either of them could have imagined. And perhaps that's the most beautiful truth of all, that a single act of kindness can outlive us, echoing through others long after the moment has passed. Because in the end, kindness doesn't just change one life, it changes the world around it.